A lot has happened in the celeb world recently, and we are going to get into so much today. There's the tragedy at AstroWorld and how the victims' families reacted to Travis Scott's offer to pay for the funerals. We'll also get into some brilliant advice from Elizabeth Olsen, Leonardo DiCaprio being a hero, and so much more celebrity news that will blow your mind. Stick with us, and let's go. What happened at AstroWorld? The music festival started off well, but then crowds started to surge and some people got trampled. The amount of people that were there was reportedly way too many, and it became dangerous, even if you didn't take into account the fact that the pandemic's still going on. The youngest victim of the event, Ezra Blount, was on his father Treston's shoulders when the crowd started to surge forward and Treston passed out. 9-year-old Ezra fell. He suffered brain, liver, and kidney trauma during the chaos, and his family struggled to find him in the crowd. He was later placed in a medically induced coma to help him heal, but sadly his injuries were too severe and he died in the hospital. He was the youngest of 10 people who lost their lives thanks to the events at AstroWorld. Travis Scott and the rest of the organizers of the event have faced a lot of backlash because of crowd control that was so severely lacking. Travis also seemed to notice that people were getting hurt, but instead of stopping and helping them get help, he continued to play his music. It is a terrible incident that needs to be properly investigated. The offer for funeral costs. After the tragedy, Travis Scott offered to pay all of the funeral costs for all of the victims, but many of them refused it, including the family of the youngest victim, Ezra. Their attorney said that while they do believe that Travis Scott has remorse for the incident, they still believe that he needs to face and also bear some of the responsibility for this tragedy. They aren't the only family to refuse the offer either. Some of the others weren't as kind with their rejection. The family of 14-year-old victim John Hilgert was plainer in their rejection of the offer. They made it clear through their attorney that they felt that the offer was demeaning and inappropriate given how huge this tragedy was. They also continue to say that paying for their own son's funeral was one of the last things that they could ever do for him, and there was no way that they would allow anyone else to do it. Their biggest concern was ensuring that this type of thing never happens ever again. Quite a number of the victims' families refused the offer, and many people that were at the music festival have filed lawsuits against Travis Scott and the organizers for various injuries. Our thoughts are with all the families of the victims and everyone that was affected by this tragedy. Now let's get to some lighter celeb news. Brilliant advice from Elizabeth Olsen. Tom Holland shared some brilliant advice that Elizabeth Olsen gave him as a young actor, and it's actually incredible advice for just about any job or walk of life. He shared that she told him, no is a full sentence. No is enough. Sometimes you just need to say no and stick to it. Holland said that it came on really handy when filming Spider-Man Homecoming and he felt really sick. He was under pressure to finish up the day of work, but he was just too sick to do it. That was the first time he just said no, that he had been giving them everything and he couldn't do any more. And in Spider-Man No Way Home, he was filming the last scenes of the movie. He didn't feel the dialogue and he expressed this to John Watts, the director. They worked with the writers to get it done perfectly. Saying no really worked well. It's great advice for all other situations too. Sadly, it doesn't always work. Chris Noth's sexual abuse allegations. The sexual assault allegations against Chris Noth keep coming. His accusers stand at 3 at this stage, and they are all accusing him of sexual assaults in 2004, 2010, and 2015. They say that the press tour for the new Sex and the City revival, and just like that, has brought up a lot of painful memories for them, and thanks to the Me Too movement of the last few years, the victims were able to gather the courage to come forward. Their stories are incredibly sad and really detailed. It has shocked many people. Peloton has also pulled their ad featuring Chris Noth after the allegations have made headlines. Noth has denied all of the allegations that have been made against him. Were any of you at the AstroWorld Music Festival? Share your experience with us in the comments section. I would love to hear from you. Next up, we're going to check out how Leonardo DiCaprio was a hero, check out the entire mess between Ben Affleck and his Howard Stern interview, plus so much more. Let's check it all out. How Leonardo DiCaprio was a hero. We have heard some wild stories from the set of Don't Look Up, but one of those stories showed Leo DiCaprio playing the role of hero for his pups. Anything where someone saves an animal is a great story in my opinion, and this one's pretty great too. They were filming and Leo's Huskies were with him on set. Apparently those two were pretty wild. So one day these two decided that it would be a good idea to take a dip in a frozen lake. The first one fell into the frozen lake and Leo went in after him. Leo said that since he lives in California that he didn't really understand what you do at a frozen lake. Is it just me, or should Leo really know how dangerous freezing water can be? I wonder if his dogs would have shared the door with him. Anyway, he jumped in and right away the other dog followed. Luckily all three made it out okay, and Leo rushed to his car and got out of his freezing clothes to warm up. That made the second time that Leo saved those pups, since they were both rescue dogs too. And that's pretty darn cool to hear. The mess between Jen, Ben, and Jen. This one might have all started thanks to words that were being twisted. Ben Affleck did an interview on the Howard Stern show, and it sounds like it was a really long one. In it, he spoke about how his marriage to Jennifer Garner affected his sobriety, saying things like he was trapped in the marriage, and one of the answers that he had to his problems was getting drunk on the couch. Fans were super unimpressed when they heard the comments and the implication that Ben was blaming Jen Garner for his alcoholism. And I get it. Jennifer Garner's a treasure that should be protected, and she was also the one that supported him for years after their divorce, even driving him to rehab. Soon after, Ben clarified that he would never blame her, and that he hated his words were twisted in that way because she is still the mother of his children. It was good to hear that he still cares, but almost as soon as he clarified those comments, others started to surface that Jennifer Lopez was angry at him for his comments in the interview and because she was getting dragged into a mess. This all from an anonymous source, of course. J-Lo then went on the record with People magazine to say that all of that was completely false. She made it very clear that she has total respect for Ben as a father, a co-parent, and a person. Tristan Thompson's latest baby mama speaks out. The woman that has filed child support against Tristan Thompson has given her side of the story. Marilee Nichols, who gave birth to her baby boy on the 1st of December 2021, said that she did not know that Tristan was involved with anyone when they started seeing each other. He has reportedly admitted to having the affair between December 2020 and ending it just around his 30th birthday, just around the same time when Khloe Kardashian made it public that they were back together. Viewers of the reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians would know that before Tristan made a lot of attempts to get Khloe to trust him again after cheating on her repeatedly, including the time just before she gave birth to their daughter. Since Marilee and Tristan's affair ended just when Khloe announced that they were together again, it's very possible that Marilee's telling the truth when she says that Thompson told her that he was single and co-parenting. After all the effort he put into getting Khloe to trust him again, it's really mind-blowing that Tristan might have been up to his old tricks at the exact same time. It's also been reported that he doesn't plan on having a relationship with this new baby, and Marilee Nichols made it clear that she doesn't want a romantic relationship with him, and her only real interest is to make sure her baby is cared for. Share any thoughts you have about any of today's stories with us in the comments section, and thanks for watching.